Yes guys, it's your boy Crookesalot and welcome back to my new review series where I will look in depth at the latest games and you can decide whether they are worth the purchase price or not. Before we get into it, I'd really appreciate it if you just take 10 seconds to go and subscribe to the channel and ring the bell so you'll never miss any of my future content. Right, let's get into it. Destroy All Humans was first released in June 2005 and received a positive reception from gamers and critics alike. It built up quite a following, and a sequel was released in October 2006, Destroy All Humans 2. I played both of these games when I was younger, and loved them both. Fast forward to August 2020, and the Destroy All Humans remake is finally released. New features of the 2020 remake include a graphical upgrade, updated side missions, and more abilities. The game is set in 1950s America, which is the heyday of conspiracy theories. However, hidden around every corner is the ever-looming threat to the American way of life, communism. The main protagonist is Cryptosporidium 137, a Furon who has been sent to Earth to find his missing brother, Cryptosporidium 136. The second main character is Orthopox, commonly referred to as Pox, who is essentially your boss. He sends you on missions to learn more about the human race, using a variety of different methods. There are 23 main missions in total, which are located across 6 open-world sandboxes. These 6 open-world levels include Turnipseed Farm, Rockwell, Santa Modesta, Area 42, Uniontown, and Capital City. Each level, or area, are varied in size and all feel different enough from each other to keep you engaged throughout the game. From the small town of Rockwell to the desert landscape of Area 42, these areas are well designed, and if you choose to explore them, you will find they have a lot of character along with hidden goodies here and there. Once you have completed your first mission in an area, you can then go back to that location whenever you like and do whatever you want. Moving on to character abilities, you have 5 main abilities, of which 2 are upgradable. These abilities are the Holobob, Telekinesis, Brain Drain as I like to call it, Forget, Follow, and Jetpack. So, the Holobob, Forget, and Follow abilities aren't upgradable. They are more just key mechanics needed for missions and optional objectives. Use the Holobob to take a human form as a disguise. This only lasts a certain amount of time, so be sure to prolong your disguise by scanning human thoughts. If you are spotted whilst in your disguise, use the Forget ability to, make the witnesses forget that they ever saw your, no doubt, communist activities. The Follow ability does what it says on the tin, mainly used for missions, makes a human follow you for an unlimited period of time, until death of course. The Brain Drain ability, as I have called it, pops the heads of targeted humans and leaves their brains for you to collect. Brains, i.e. DNA, is the currency in the game, which you can spend on upgrades. This ability can be upgraded to spread to nearby humans, making it easy to collect DNA while simultaneously killing large groups of humans. The Telekinesis ability allows Crypto to move objects with his mind. You can move things such as humans, explosive barrels, and lawn chairs. This ability can be upgraded to pick up larger objects such as cars, tanks, and trucks later on in the game. Crypto also has his trusty jetpack, which allows you to move around quickly, avoid enemy attacks, and reach high up, hard to reach places. Now, let's cover your weapons. There are 4 weapons that you can utilise: the Zap-O-Matic, the Disintegrator Ray, the Anal Probe, and the Ion Detonator. The Zap-O-Matic is an electric hand cannon which will fry your enemies at a reasonable rate without any upgrades. However, with upgrades, this weapon will allow you to quickly disperse crowds of enemies, as the electric will chain up to 5 enemies at once. The Disintegrator Ray is an iconic Destroy All Humans weapon. Use it to turn your enemies into ash and bone with only a few shots. This weapon absolutely shreds humans and vehicles, especially when you've upgraded it a bit. Once fully upgraded, the Disintegrator Ray will fire 3 shots for every pull of the trigger, so it becomes very powerful late game. The next weapon on the list is the Anal Probe, and it is a very fun weapon to use. Lock onto human gas bags, pull the trigger when prompt, and a green tentacle-like probe will shoot out of your gun and fly straight into a targeted human's butt crack. It drains their health and kills them shortly after. While popping their head simultaneously, it automatically collects their DNA. Once upgraded, this weapon, combined with Brain Drain, will see you rack up DNA to help upgrade more and more things. Last but not least, the iron detonator is the most powerful weapon in your arsenal. It is the last weapon you unlock, but it is absolutely devastating. Fire the weapon and a glowing ball will fly out of your gun and onto the ground. Said glowing ball will pull all humans in its vicinity in towards the ball before exploding in a glorious spherical rage. All humans will be disintegrated and it deals huge damage to vehicles. This is definitely a personal favourite of mine. Moving on to source weapons now, and we have 4 at your disposal. A disintegrator ray, an abductor ray, sonic boom, and a quantum deconstructor. The disintegrator ray is simply a larger version of the handheld weapon. Use this weapon to destroy buildings, vehicles and humans. It absolutely lays waste to the environment. The abductor beam can be used to pick up humans, vehicles and even cows and throw them into buildings amongst other things. The sonic boom weapon is a pretty powerful weapon which can easily destroy ground anti-air defences. Once upgraded, the sonic boom can destroy buildings in just a few shots. Finally, the quantum deconstructor. It is my personal favourite weapon in the entire game. It's essentially a large version of the ion detonator. Use this weapon to level large areas of defences and buildings. Its explosion is a thing of beauty, trust me. Now, let's talk about the side missions. These are broken down into 4 categories: Races, Armageddon, Abduction and Rampage challenges. Races have you chasing a drone around an area of the map whilst it drops items that you have to collect. The quicker that you collect these items, the more points you receive. Personally, I found these challenges the hardest and most frustrating thing about the game, especially the latter challenges, where the room for error is so slim that it makes these races very difficult to obtain 3 stars on, unless you practice over and over and over again until you have managed to master each race. The Union Town race alone took me over 2 hours to get 3 stars on. It was an absolute nightmare. Armageddon challenges have you flying around in your saucer, destroying anything you can whilst trying to destroy marked targets. I found these challenges really fun and enjoyed destroying large parts of each map. Abduction challenges have you throwing specific things into your ship's tractor beam whilst you're on the ground and against the clock. Some of these can be pretty difficult, however I enjoyed completing these missions as I enjoyed the challenge. Lastly, we have Rampage challenges, where you're on foot trying to kill specific targets against the clock. These were pretty easy if you utilise all of the game's mechanics. Now, let's discuss the story. It isn't pulling up any trees in terms of an amazing, compelling storyline. However, it is enjoyable playing as an alien trying to kill every human in sight. This is also helped by the fantastic writing, which is hilarious throughout.
Alright, Crypto. I've analyzed all the thoughts you've collected, and I think I've isolated the perfect subject for you to
probe and vaporize?
No. Abduct and bring back to the mothership.
My way's more fun.
Abduct, not vaporize.
Okay, but humanity ain't gonna annihilate itself, all I'm saying.
Can I finish?
Can I stop you?
Harold, come on back! You gotta see this! They got a talking horse on the TV! I ain't never seen nothing like... Ah! Little green spaceman! Ah!
I am not green.
Some of the running communist jokes are really well suited considering the time period. Onto the gameplay now, and we have a few things to discuss. So here we have escalating authority levels, beginning with people who saw you committing some dodgy alien business, progressing to the police department, then to the army, and finally Majestic, who are essentially the FBI or the Men in Black. You actually have some very funny run-ins with these characters, and I enjoyed them a lot. This whole system is very similar to Grand Theft Auto's. Also, literally everything is destructible, so you can go out of your way destroying everything on the ground and it never gets old. The boss battles are also pretty challenging, making you utilise every weapon in your possession and push your skills to the limit. The last boss is definitely the hardest as you'd expect, but I did struggle as they have some very powerful abilities coupled with a lot going on and ground troops shooting at you. However, you don't want a last boss to be super easy, so it was a pleasant surprise to have that challenge there. There are also many collectibles scattered throughout the levels, over 150 Furon probes. Some of them are easier to find than others, so you better look everywhere for them. Each probe collected unlocks some concept art in the main menu, which I think is a pretty cool addition, and there are also different skins to unlock for Crypto by completing all the optional objectives on certain missions, which is a nice addition as some of them are really cool. Variety of enemies, you'll encounter just like regular soldiers, just like people trying to hit you with pitchforks and stuff. Then there's like these agents who just shoot like a machine gun, like a Tommy gun kind of spray at you. Some of them fire like these laser blasters, and if they hit you then it'll like disable your weapons and stuff for a certain amount of time, which adds a bit of degree of difficulty to the game, although I won't class it as necessarily difficult. Then there's these like psychic enemies who have been obviously like made in a lab by the Majestic and then released out to defeat you, who fire like kinetic abilities and stuff, and they're a bit tougher than regular enemies, but they're nothing special. Then there's tanks, trucks of enemies, police cars. Also, as you get further through the game, like these big mechs, like human but like Iron Giant size mechs, just like off Pacific Rim, and you've got to like destroy them. And when you upgrade your abilities, like your telekinesis, you can like pick up cars eventually, and pick up these men in suits and dash them into the sea, which is obviously awesome. You feel like a total badass when all this is going on. And I also feel like the combat mechanic of the game, to say that it is a PS2 game, it does actually bode quite well, because it's very similar to like the Ratchet and Clank kind of, how just everything's all going off at once and you're in the thick of it, dodging left, right, flipping, jumping over stuff. Like, it's very hectic, but it's well suited, it's not out of place. And obviously with that being such a key part of the game, it has to not get repetitive and annoying, which it never did for me. I feel like you don't unlock stuff too fast. Obviously you can farm humans and brains, DNA. You can literally just finish a mission, or not even finish a mission, mid-mission just kill everybody. Take the brains, more people will come, kill them, take their brains, etc, etc. But that does get a little bit repetitive, even if you're doing it for like 20 minutes. It is fun and that, but obviously you just want to go with the flow, do the missions, but not just farm. So I never was like uber powerful to the point where everything was super easy. There were also some multiple choice questions where you could, obviously they had varied answers, and depending on what you clicked, depended on how the cutscene played out, which I thought was really cool because I was getting some Fallout type vibes off that. And also something I missed earlier in the review, a big shout out to the skate ability, which is essentially sliding around quickly to avoid enemy fire. This was a really cool mechanic, and by the end of the game you've got this nailed, so you're flying about, destroying everything. It feels really fluid, natural, and I absolutely loved it. To conclude, I had a lot of fun with Destroy All Humans. It kept me engaged throughout, had some difficult challenges, but perfecting them made me feel like an absolute boss. I would say that I put in around 20 hours into the game, which for me definitely justifies the £35 purchase price. I'd probably give this a 7.5 out of 10, because I thought it wasn't pulling up any trees like I said earlier, it's not doing anything new, it's not inventing the wheel, but it's sticking to what was tried and tested, which was already good. And I think THQ Nordic have done a great job. Big thumbs up to them. Thank you very much for remastering one of my favourite childhood games. You did a great job. So if you guys enjoyed this review, please subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video and comment down below. It's been your boy Crookesalot, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye guys.